We're very, very close to the trade deadline, Mike. November the 4th. Brett Veach has got to make something happen here, man, because this team is too good. This offense is too good. It could be something special. We can't let something like that slip away because we don't go out and add to the pass rush.
I'm going to just throw this out here right now for you. You ready? The Raiders came out in the third quarter, and they were still in their opening 15-play script, bro.
That's insane.
Think about how bad you have to be.
They got shut the hell down.
That's a fucking W.
We can flip it over to Bradley Chubb. It looks like the Dolphins absolutely suck the peenar this year, and they're ready to go ahead and deal out some of these guys.
He's throwing at 69% completion percentage, 1,355 passing yards, 14 total touchdowns to 1 pick.
Come on.
That's insane, dude.
Come on, brother. Tell me about Patty Mahomes.
I'll tell you about him. I'll tell you about him a little bit more if you'd like.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up, the podcast.
Chiefs Kingdom, ACU crew, how's everybody doing? It is Tuesday, October 21st. The Chiefs are coming off a belt-to-ass victory over division rival, the Raiders, on Sunday. Mike, it was super exciting. The offense showed out. Rashee Rice was back. It was very fun. The defense kept them to a big fat goose egg, baby. So let's talk about that defense a little bit, shall we?
Yeah, the defense played well. I thought Spags had a very good game plan. You've seen a lot of Christian Roland Wallace, and it's wild that that's the first name I'm going to throw out today, but you've seen a lot of Christian Roland Wallace actually get out there and play some of the position that we think he should. So he was playing a little bit of the nickel. He was sliding up to the safety to help in the shell situations. He looked really good, and I think that allowed people to move around. I thought McDuffie had a pretty good game. I thought that penalty he got called on was like the softest of the soft. But yeah, a lot of good stuff there. McDuffie actually finished with a 74 PFF grade, so he was the 6th highest player rated on the Chiefs this week. Chris Jones, heck of a game. A 91.1. He had a sack. He should have had probably 2 sacks. I think that the defense overall on the day, though, they did really well. Now, granted, they were having to stretch on the sideline and ride the stationary bikes to stay loose because the offense just stayed out there and dominated all day long, right? But, yeah, it looks like Omarr Norman-Lott was the big story coming out of that, man, because his injury going forward kind of sucks.
Of course it is. We invested a 2nd-round draft pick in the kid. We really thought he was going to be something special as a pass rusher.
Yeah, crazy horny.
The way he was in college, we were hoping it could translate, right? And I know things got off to a little bit of a slow start. He kind of had injuries here and there, but we really weren't expecting him to end up with a season-ending injury with the ACL tear right around the time that you were really hoping he could start heating up and contributing to the team. Because, Mike, the biggest problem that we've had all season long is we have no pass rush. That defensive line, that's been the problem since the offseason. You've been bringing it up. Hey, we have to add to this pass rush. We have to add to it. They did it via the draft with Omarr Norman-Lott and Ashton Gillotte. Obviously, I think Omarr Norman-Lott looked a little more promising to getting out there earlier. Gillotte's still got a time to adjust, right? It's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
But now we don't have them. And we're very, very close to the trade deadline, Mike. That's November the 4th. So we're only looking at 2 weeks. The trade deadline. Brett Veach has got to make something happen here, man, because this team is too good. This offense is too good. It could be something special. We can't let something like that slip away because we don't go out and add to the pass rush.
Right. Brett Veach has to add to the pass rush. He may even double dip here. So how about me and you throw out some names that we think could be a possible trade scenario? Are they very likely? Who knows? But let's throw out a few names. I'll start. I'm going to go out with Calais Campbell. A lot of people said Calais Campbell from the Cardinals. Now, here's what I'll say. The Cardinals playing in the NFC, I mean, they could have 2 wins right now and still be almost like a front runner to win their division, right? So are they really going to give up on somebody if they think they can win? Yeah. So it's just crazy. And it's one of those things where you could maybe get Calais Campbell. Now, look, he's older than dirt. Like, the dude right now is like pushing, like, I want to say like 73, 74 years old. So he's old, but he's still putting up, right? He's got 12 tackles this year. That's tied for 29th in the NFL. He's got 5 assists, which ties him for 31st in the NFL. And he actually has 3 sacks, tied for 10th. He's tied for probably our biggest sack leader on the year. I mean, so he's right there, and his overall PFF grade's good. His run defense is good. He's actually got 17 total pressures on the year and 12 stops in the run game behind the line of scrimmage. So he's still got a little bit of juice in the tank. he could be a 1-year filler guy.
Of course, man. I absolutely think that's exactly what he could be. And this is not new to the Chiefs, man. We had a Super Bowl run with Terrell Suggs. We had a Super Bowl run with Carlos Dunlap. We catch them at the end of their careers. We get another good year out of them. They have all the experience in the world, and they're still able to contribute. And I think that's exactly where Calais Campbell is right now. Mike, if we wanted to go a little bit younger, we could flip it over to Bradley Chubb. It looks like the Dolphins absolutely suck the PNR this year, and they're ready to go ahead and deal out some of these guys. Bradley Chubb, we all know him from when he played back in Denver. He's always been a force, and it looks like he's still going. He's 29 years old, so he's not the youngest guy in the room, but he's also not the oldest. He's right there in the middle. You could maybe get a couple good years out of him if you wanted to extend it more than just a one-season rental type deal. This guy, he's already got 4 sacks this year, so he's actually one ahead of Calais Campbell. And let's be honest here, the Dolphins have been a train wreck. So I think Bradley Chubb would be a great target for us. He's not new to the AFC West. He knows that grind. He knows that style of ball. He knows how competitive that division can be. Yep. And I think this is a year where it's going to be more competitive than it has been in a decade. So I think, any kind of advantage you can get, I honestly really like Bradley Chubb to come in and help us get some pass rush. What about you?
Yeah, I like Bradley Chubb. I think he's a guy that can come in and actually contribute right away. The good thing about Bradley Chubb is also that he is not owed any guaranteed money after this season. So technically, there's a little bit, but that does mean he's owed guaranteed money this season. So who has to pick that up? How do they work that out? I don't think we're looking to get somebody for a long-term thing. I think we're looking for we're like on Tinder swiping, like we're just trying to find somebody for the night. It wouldn't
hurt now, would it? It wouldn't hurt either, because you have to think, they might go draft some more pass rush or try to get someone in the offseason. But right now, with what we don't have a whole lot of depth. Charles Omenihu, Mike Dana, they're both doing okay right now. They're doing a little better than they were a couple weeks ago, but they're still not moving the needle. And then you got Ashton Gillotte, who's going to take some time to develop. Now you're talking about your second-round draft pick with Omarr Norman-Lott, who's going to miss the rest of this season, have a slow start to next season, and he still wasn't where he needed to be. So maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to get a guy that you could keep for more than just 1 year. And in this case, I think Bradley Chubb is one of those guys. It just depends on the money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I would think about maybe bringing him in. Look, the defense was amazing the other day. Now, I do know that it was the Raiders, but the defense set a franchise record for the fewest first downs allowed in a game.
Let's go.
3 first downs allowed. The only other time allowing 5 or fewer was in 1997 in a 30-0 shutout of who else? The Raiders. Shout out Ron Kopp for that nice little stat tidbit right there. So, yeah, man. That is an amazing performance, but again, we have to do it. So let me throw out another name. We've been talking about, the Jets are complete ass. Maybe we'll go get Breece Hall. Maybe we'll do this. Well, I've read a report that says that the Jets have been very stubborn with their asking prices, but it says logical thinking says that something has to change soon. And all eyes are on that specific running back, Breece Hall. But there's another guy there, and that's a guy that Chiefs Kingdom liked a lot when he come out in the draft, and that was FSU edge rusher Jermaine Johnson, if you remember him. 6'5", 262. That kid right there had the exact Spags build that he likes. He was pretty decent. And look, here's the thing. When he's got in the NFL, he's been slow to develop, but look, he's playing for literally the Jets. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but when you play for bad teams, your motivation's really low.
Poverty franchise, brother.
Right, complete poverty. Look, he's got a 71 overall run defense grade, which puts him 11, 12 points above average. He's playing at 68 overall, which puts him about 8 points above average. He's got 10 solo tackles. He does have a sack. He's got 9 hurries, and he's got 12 total pressures. Now, look, that's not going to set the world on fire, but again, he's young. He's young. He's only 26, going on 27 years old. So that's a guy that you could probably bring in, and maybe you could have him here long term. And I think he gives you a more talented, and a higher floor guy that we're used to having out there. Somebody like you said, maybe like a Carlos Dunlap, like not in his complete like football knowledge and his stuff like that, but he's got like just as much or good athleticism off the edge. He's got the size. He's got all those intangibles.
Right. Yeah, I like that one a lot. I know a lot of people were big on Johnson in the draft, so that could be a fit, man. And hey, if you want to stick with the young guys, there's another one that people are talking about. And he's kind of the Brett Veachy type where he was drafted very high, top 5 draft pick, hasn't quite performed up to par, but maybe we could get a little bit more out of him. He's also got a couple character concerns, and that's something that Andy Reid seems to be able to deal with a little bit better than other coaches.
Hey, we love character concern.
Exactly. So they could take a look at Kayvon Thibodeau from the New York Giants.
Okay.
Mark. A lot of people really like this kid. He has all the skill sets that you need to be a pass rusher in the NFL. People were excited about this kid. They thought he was going to be really, really good. And don't get me wrong, he hasn't been terrible. His first year, his rookie season, got off a little slow, 4 sacks. But his second season in 2023, Mike hit 11.5 sacks, 26 combined tackles, 24 assists. This guy went nuts. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of went back since then. He regressed. 2024, he had 5.5 sacks, and this season so far, only 2.5. But this is another example of, hey, he's kind of playing for a poverty franchise. But in the defense of that defensive line there, and this kind of goes along with why they could trade him away, is stacked up.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally have Dexter Lawrence in the middle. They have Abdul Carter on the edge that they just took in the draft, and then they'd have Brian Burns. Like, they are absolutely loaded. So if they could get rid of him, it wouldn't hurt them any. I really don't think that would change their pass rush whatsoever, but they're a team, Mike, that I think might be interested in dealing because they're not so much like the Dolphins where they're just down and out and they have to rebuild. I think that the Giants have a lot of promise right now. They have, on the offensive side of the ball, the rookie combo of Dart and Scattaboo that I think they're very intrigued with, and everybody's getting their juices flowing in New York. They think they got something. They got Malik Neighbors, right, and Wan'Dale Robinson. They have a good offense, and the defense is stacked. So I think they are looking like to go, keep trending up as an organization and not be in the pit where they usually are. So how do they do that? They can continue to build on that. So why not go ahead and trade away Kayvon Thibodeau for maybe draft capital or something of that nature, or maybe something they need right now because he's not performing all that well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. There's another guy out there. A lot of people have been throwing his name out, and I'll touch on it for just a second. Trey Hendrickson. Now, look, I don't think that the Bengals are necessarily going to deal him. If you look at Hendrickson's contract, the way it's set up, he got an extra 1-year, $29 million restructured deal this past offseason. But that means Cincinnati keeps the reserved rights to franchise tag him as a pass rusher in 2026. So if they trade him, they're essentially trading away an ability to franchise tag a guy that is going to be at a below market deal next year. And it's not just any guy, it's Trey Hendrickson. And you see, when you watch the Raiders, look what Max Crosby did. When he come off the field, it was like a shark feeding frenzy out there. And just because Max Crosby left the field, the Raiders had nothing. That whole defense fell apart. The Bengals have been systematically getting rid of their coaches, any of their defensive talent, so they could just keep stacking the offense. So Burrow could play 4.5, quarters and then go out for the season like he always does. But I think Trey Hendrickson's a guy, if you pull off that defense, they go ahead and just collapse the full way. So I don't know if they'll actually commit to that or not. So I'll go back to another name that we had talked about before, and it's back to the Dolphins. Again, Jalen Phillips. I think that's another name at 6'5", 263 you may see. He's tied for 9th in the NFL this year with 14 total tackles. Okay, he's tied for 12th in assists with 6. He has 2 sacks, which again put him at the top of anybody on our roster, just about, minus maybe Karlaftis, Omenihu, and Chris Jones. And I mean, he ties like Omenihu right there, I believe. I think Omenihu's got 2, right? If he's got 3, I'm sorry, but I think it's 2 off the top of my head. So again, he grades an 80 in the pass rush, which is a very high mark. The dude has 13 stops in the run game. He has 2 sacks, 18 hurries, 2 hits on the QB, and 22 total pressures. I believe that Jalen Phillips, coming off that knee, he could still be a guy, but he's going to go into a contract year, Steve, and he's a first-round pick number 18 with the Dolphins out of Miami. He's a hometown guy. He stayed in Miami. If they trade him away, that could cause some rift with the fans, and then maybe he wants to sign some monstrous deal next year. So maybe that's not something they go. Again, paying George Karlaftis kind of put a damper on how much we can actually pay another guy on the other side. You almost have to go young and cheap, and you got to do things like we're talking about now. You got to borrow guys on the cheap.
Right. And one more guy that I would mention that a lot of people have been talking about is Christian Wilkins. We all know he's a good football player, man. He's a very dominant interior defensive lineman. He's very, very strong in the run, great in the pass rush. In his best season with the Dolphins, he had 9 sacks, 10 tackles for a loss, and 58 quarterback pressures, dude. So he's got great athleticism. Of course, his size and his foot speed make him kind of a rare breed there. And this guy, I mean, let's be real here. He could move the needle if he's healthy and if he can act right. Because his weakness, Mike, is he had a recent injury. He had a Jones fracture that he suffered in his first season with the Raiders that basically led to a really challenging recovery and limited his playing time, and they eventually just parted ways with him, right? And that also kind of muddies up, it complicates the contract situation because, you know, the way that he had the injury, the release, it kind of could impact the short-term availability of him and also future options for teams that do go to get him. And then one other thing that we have to think about, the character concerns. Christian Wilkins is known for doing some weird stuff. He grabbed Josh Allen by the penar during a game.
Oh, yeah. Right off the rip. I'm getting that leather and tobacco vibe and that bourbon vanilla. This stuff right here, straight fire, baby. You work hard, you play hard, and we know Chiefs Kingdom cheers hard. And when you do that, it's obvious you work up a little stank. I mean, come on. We're stinky humans who survive on barbecue and Patrick Mahomes highlights. But you don't always want to be at musty level 10. We don't. We're trying to smell nice. And for us, it's this right here, Mando, baby. You wake up, you shower, you start your day, but eventually you start to get a little, ripe. You catch a whiff and you just pray nobody else is offended by your stank bubble. You don't have to walk around smelling like Bigfoot's. Grab yourself some Mando full body deodorant or some Mando whole body deodorant spray. They even have whole body deodorant cream. You have no reason to stink. We absolutely love Mando, and that's why we partnered with them to bring their goodness to you. Look, we're super big into fragrances and colognes, and this stuff smells fantastic. This is bourbon leather, and it smells incredible. There's so many reasons to love it. It's safe to use for your pits, to your balls, to your big old disgusting filthy feet. It was created by an actual doctor who wanted to stop the misdiagnosis and mistreatment of odors. Mando is clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. And no, that doesn't mean you can be a degenerate piece of and not shower for real. It helps with odor. It doesn't perform miracles. There's 4 scents. This bourbon leather here is fantastic. They also have Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, and Pro Sport scent. So do you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula? Of course you do. You can find them at Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. But for the best deals, go to shopmando.com. You can pick up a Mando starter pack. It's absolutely perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and you get free shipping. Free shipping is huge. I've been known not to order $100 worth of stuff because I didn't want to pay $10 for shipping. And if you don't love it, they'll give you a full refund up to 60 days later. That's how confident Mando is that your balls won't stink. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence head to toe with Mando.
And then he also recently was all over the news because they wanted him out of there because he was kissing dudes on the forehead in the locker room. So either this guy's weird or thinks he's funny, or I don't know what's going on there, but there's definitely some stuff to worry about with Christian Wilkins. But a lot of Chiefs Kingdom is saying, bring him in here. We need him.
Yeah, I'll mention one more guy to keep an eye on. And I know it picked up on X yesterday, and a lot of people were wanting that. Me and you are not going to be on this bandwagon. 100%. You're going to hate this. People are begging for Colin Saunders to come back to the Chiefs because he's an athletic interior guy to replace an athletic interior guy. But Steve, he's been at Jacksonville now, and he's literally recorded 12 snaps all year long. So I don't understand why they're not using him. What's going on there? You know, he played for the Saints for 2 years. He was decently productive. Wasn't nothing crazy. He actually posted out yesterday, Steve, that he was eating some burnt ends. Was that was that some kind of a weird, hey, look at me, Brett Veach kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I would want to go back to Kansas City if I was him. But here's the thing with Colin Saunders, dude. It's not like the worst idea in the world. I don't think it's as bad as going and spending draft capital to get Derek Nottie back. But I do think it's in the same vein of that, where you got a guy that's just really not that great and you're just going to bring him back because it's comfortable.
Right.
I'm not okay with that. Also, just not a big Colin Saunders fan in general. I think he might be fun. He's good for the locker room, very athletic guy. He could probably contribute a little bit here and there. But, I mean, overall, I'm just not a huge Colin Saunders fan, Mike. You know that. And I just don't think that it'd be a good idea to keep dipping back to players that we've already had and didn't work out and they've went somewhere else. Like, I think they need to get some fresh blood in here and some guys that are ready to come in and compete for a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But that's the names. That's the names that we've been hearing about. That's the names that people have thrown out. We thought we'd throw them out for you guys. Let us know in the comments what you think about any of those names. Did any of those names sound good to you? If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, wherever, leave a review for us and come on over to YouTube and find us on there and have some conversations with us. Join the ACU crew. You can become a member over here. It's only like $4.99 a month. I think if you're on an iPhone, it's $5.99. It's join.allchiefedup.com. Come over here. You got a chance to win signed jerseys, signed pictures, you name it. We're all the time doing fun giveaways and things like that. So yeah, if you're over there, give us a 5-star review and then come find us on YouTube, man. So Steve, let's get back to the offense. Because I believe the offense got people a little horned up. The offense was fired up.
Yeah.
And the biggest story, and we got to talk about it for a minute. I know people's tired of it probably, but how could you be tired of this? Rashee Rice is back, and he's a dog.
Let's go, baby.
He's
Two
a dog.
tutties in the first game. What the hell? Like, I knew he was going to get in at least once, but I didn't know they were going to just like, hey, eat, baby, eat. They went from everybody got to eat to Rashee got to eat. Like,
Yahoo.
Dude,
Yahoo come out with a thing
insane.
today and said he played for like 2.75 quarters and scored 2 touchdowns. So if the Chiefs feasibly, he plays all year long and we go all the way back to the Super Bowl and get 4 games in the playoffs, he's on pace to score 44 touchdowns.
Let's go, baby. Hey, if they're going to let him do it, I'm okay with that strategy. Let's just keep feeding him the rock, baby. But no, super excited to have him back. It just brings a whole different dynamic to the offense, right? It opens up so much for Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, and even Tyquan Thornton. And Hollywood Brown got in the mix just a little bit. He didn't get as many targets as he has been getting, but the one that he did get, he cashed in on, baby. It was 1 reception for 8 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't be upset about that with Hollywood. There's just so much talent on this offense, dude. It's absolutely insane. And now that Rashee Rice is back, I just feel like it kind of makes it whole. There's just a lot going on there. Teams have a hard time defending against this team. They're going to have a hard time game planning for this team. And especially if you see Andy Reid to continue to give Pacheco the rock the way he was giving it to him in the Raiders game the other day, if we can keep establishing that run and using Pacheco in a way that he's good at, which we've seen a lot, they're getting him outside the tackles, they're letting him do his thing. And then you got Kareem Hunt for the short yardage, and we got Brashard Smith involved. That was great to see. We got a little heavier dose of Brashard Smith. So this offense, dude, it's got me horned up.
Brashard
level
Smith.
11.
Right. Brashard Smith picking up that 3rd down on that little screen pass. It wasn't necessarily a screen. Well, I guess it was. But they flip it out to him. They had the screen set up, and he gets the 1st down. That was one of those things that changed the way the game was going. And it doesn't necessarily mean you lose the game, but that's something that Kareem Hunt's not going to be able to do for you. That's something that Pacheco's probably not doing for you. That's something that Jerick McKinnon used to do, and we're seeing Brashard Smith being able to do that. Brashard Smith got to touch the ball a lot, but look, let's be completely honest. When he was touching the ball in the 4th quarter, he was literally going up to the line of scrimmage, calling A-gap runs and falling down because Andy Reid was doing whatever he could to not run up the score. So we really didn't get to see what he looked like behind that offensive line and blocking. So I still think that's on the table. I can't wait to see more of that when it does happen. But yeah, Brashard Smith, he looked really good. I was happy to see that. Patrick Mahomes looked amazing. The Chiefs' offense was just flat out rolling. Xavier Worthy didn't even get in the end zone. And I mean, you think that Xavier Worthy had like a forgettable game. But he really didn't. He actually come through in the clutch a few times. Do you remember when he got held and then Mahomes just flipped it to the middle of the field on the run and Xavier Worthy went up and caught that ball? Yes, he got a penalty, but he fought for that tough catch. He went out. He was injured. His shoulder looked like he may not even come back in. He shakes it off. He's tough. He's right back in on the next drive. So Xavier Worthy actually played a tough game. I wish they could have got him in the end zone. It'd have been fun. You know, the whole everybody got to eat. It would have been him, Hollywood, and Rasheed would have scored. But, I mean, they didn't do it. There's always next week. I think Worthy's always going to do it. And, Steve, as good as our offense played, the offense of the Raiders, think about this. I'm going to just throw this out here right now for you. You ready? The Raiders came out in the third quarter, and they were still in their opening 15-play script, bro.
That's insane.
Think about how bad you have to be.
They got shut the hell down. But before we leave our offense talk, man, I want to bring up the tight ends. I thought Kelsey and Noah Gray both had good days, right? And then also the offensive line. You know, there's still a little bit of turmoil going on there. You got Josh Simmons' situation going on. Jalen Moore's been filling in quite well, might I say.
Yeah.
The offensive lines look good, man. Now, Trey Smith, he did have his back lock up on him, but I don't know if this is anything that's going to linger. So hopefully not.
I heard he was walking around the locker room after the game, and it wasn't really bothering him. So it sounds like it might not be a big factor.
Of course, and then Kingsley Suamataia continues to get better at his position. And also, Jawan Taylor, ladies and gentlemen, he hasn't had a penalty in almost a month.
Bro.
And he's holding it down. Like, that's the thing. People always judge his game off of the penalties. But if you just forget about the penalties and you look at the performance this guy's putting up, he's yet to let up a sack this season. He's the leader in the league. Like,
that's wild.
Jawan Taylor is a beast over there, brother. If he could just keep the refs off his ass and keep Chiefs Kingdom off his ass, then, I mean, he's been excellent.
Yeah, you're right, dude. Jawan Taylor is wild. He's played 452 offensive snaps this year. He still leads the league in penalties with 8. But like you said, he hasn't had a penalty in 4 weeks. And he's only allowed 3 hits on Mahomes, 0 sacks, and just 10 total pressures.
Dude, you cannot ask for a better performance.
No, and he's been going up some of the best. Now, look, he got a little lucky break that he didn't have to go up against Max Crosby all day probably. But,
yeah.
But, dude, I'll tell you, man, Patrick Mahomes has been on he's just been on a flat MVP tear.
Mike, he's the betting odds favorite right now for MVP.
This dude is just insane. Over the past 5 weeks, listen to his stats over just the past 5 games alone. He's throwing at 69% completion percentage, 1,355 passing yards, 14 total touchdowns to 1 pick. That's insane, dude.
Come on, brother. Tell me about Patty Mahomes.
I'll tell you about him. I'll tell you about him a little bit more if you'd like. Look, Pat is the man. That's the and you know what? Maybe one of the funniest plays out of all of it, by the way. And before I say this, speaking of Patrick Mahomes, we're the only team over the last 4 weeks that's put up 28 plus points per game. And during that time, we lead the NFL in total yards per game with 400 and about 12, so 411.8. So the Chiefs' offense is flat out rolling. But the thing that, like, you know when the Chiefs' offense is really kicking and the offense is really feeling good is when Mahomes comes down on the 4th down and he pulls out the State Farm acting. And he's dropping the F-bomb. And he's effing this and effing that. And this play don't effing work. That's what he says. The play don't effing work. Why do we have to run this piece of junk? And then he lines back up like he's going to hard snap. Boom. Hands it off right up the middle. And look, I don't think he needed to go through the theatrics. You're playing against the Raiders.
You don't have to, but it made it awesome, right?
It was just fun. And that's how you know they're having a good time, Steve. Early in the season, felt like they wasn't having fun playing football. And we kept saying, get the fun back.
Patrick Mahomes was acting on the football field, doing some fun stuff. He was no-look passing to Rashee Rice.
Yeah, he was.
He was wheeling and dealing and kicking ass all day. Patrick Mahomes is back, ladies and gentlemen. He is the best quarterback in the National Football League. He always has been. And I think Patrick Mahomes at his best is the best quarterback you've ever seen in the National Football League, period. Like, people can argue all day about Brady this or Montana that or Peyton Manning this. I think at the very top of his game, when he is on his game, there's been nothing like it ever. And Patrick Mahomes is so fun to watch. I just absolutely love it. And I think that he's starting to have a lot more fun. He's getting a little more loose. You're seeing him play a little bit more loose. He's really loving actually having targets out there. And I'm just with you, dude. I think it's scorched earth time. He has not forgot about all the shit that's been talked in the last couple of years. And at the beginning of this season, he's not forgot about getting their ass beat in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is on a mission, and he's having fun while he's out there doing it. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah. Steve, not to toot the own horn, Or
Toot,
both
toot,
of us,
brother.
though, by the way. Toot, toot. We always say Patrick Mahomes look his best when he gets in a rhythm early with play calling. The offense looks the best when Andy Reid will commit to the run game and gives 15, but we want 20 carries a game. We don't care how you get it. 20 carries a game. Get Mahomes in a rhythm early, and then what's Mahomes got to do? Get the ball out fast. We've always said this. People want him to sit in the pocket.
Yes.
The offensive line sucks. You don't have time to throw. You don't have time to throw. He don't need time to throw, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what you need. You
Right.
got to be decisive. And listen to the stat he had versus the Raiders. This is the best offensive performance we've put up in years. You got to go back to 2022 or 2018 to find an offense like this. And listen what he did. 18 of 22 passes with his time to throw under 2.5 seconds for 129 yards and
Mike,
every single touchdown he threw, Steve.
Dude, you've mentioned everything, but let me just reiterate. This is a proven formula. A proven formula to win football games as the Kansas City Chiefs. It is Patrick Mahomes get the ball out of his hands in 2.6 seconds or less, and you get 20 rushes at least in that football game, and your chances of winning go up 99%.
Oh,
Like,
guaranteed.
it's insane.
Guaranteed. His average time to throw versus the Raiders, again, the best offensive performance we've seen in years. His average time to throw the other day, 2.27 seconds. That's the quickest in a single game in his entire career. That was one of the best performances you see. Now, look, did he get a little horned up a few times and make a bad judgment call and almost get picked off by a linebacker again?
Yes.
Absolutely. Did he have a few miscues? Absolutely. But that's called the NFL. That's just, it's going to happen a little bit. That's what it is. And can we talk about this, though? Because this is a perfect little segue into this one. I've actually reached out to Dalton from PFF, Dalton Wasserman, that was on our show. Can you believe this one? Patrick Mahomes was rated a 62.2 passing grade by PFF for his game versus the Raiders.
Mike, I'm starting to lose more and more faith in their formula.
Right. 74% completion, 286 yards, 3 tutties to no picks. He was given a 62.2 passing grade. Geno Smith threw for 67 yards and 0 touchdowns and couldn't even establish a drive in the entire game. Okay. They run the least amount of plays of any offense since the frickin' 2000 Cleveland Browns or something like that. Okay. They only ran 3 plays on the Chiefs side of the 50, and one of them was a frickin' punt. And they going to grade him a 67.2, 5 points higher than Mahomes. What in the flat out hell is PFF doing?
Yeah, man. Like, that's the thing. I've never been like big on how they do things. I've never said that it's even good, but it's always been a tool that you could use if you took it with a grain of salt and just kind of looked at it. But I'm getting to the point now to where it's like, delete that account.
How do you defend it? And I reached out to Dalton and I said,
Dalton.
can you defend this, Dalton? And he's not wrote me back.
I wouldn't either. Because I'd be like, no, there is no defending that. We're idiots. Like, I mean, honestly, dude.
Look, this is my thing. What do you think the problem is with Mahomes and PFF? Because again, this is what they say. Well, he had 3 or 4 throws that could have been picked, but they were turnover worthy. Okay. But yet Josh Allen, he can throw the pick right to the chest of a safety 2 or 3 times a game, and it doesn't count off as much as for Mahomes. I feel like there's something within Mahomes, the way he plays, the way he reads defenses, the way he throws, the way the Chiefs' defense is or the offense is in general. There's something about the way Mahomes plays that the way they grade on PFF scales for quarterbacks just does not correlate to Patrick Mahomes, because he can have a masterful game and put on a masterclass of QB performance, and he comes out and rates 2 points above average.
So why is it you think that they don't like Patrick Mahomes? I don't care why they don't like Patrick Mahomes, because he's still the freaking GOAT. And PFF is just looking like a bunch of slapnuts right now. Maybe they're biased. Maybe they're one of those people that think Josh Allen is the best quarterback in football. I'm so sick of hearing anybody besides the name of Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL, because you literally show your true colors right off the bat. I'm a slapnut. I know nothing about football. I'm an idiot, and you probably shouldn't even talk to me anymore.
Well, look at some of the names that have been thrown out in the past few years that don't even hold a candle.
It's a
CJ
joke,
Stroud comes in
brother.
for one season, and he was instantly
Get
above
outta
Mahomes.
here.
Jaden Daniels comes in for one season. He's instantly above Mahomes all of a sudden. You have the tush push butt merchant over there who doesn't
God
do
bless.
nothing.
He's a freaking running back. You talk Joe Burrow, who can't even play
Right.
because he's always breaking a fingernail. You're talking Josh Allen, who is literally a Dollar General store version of Patrick Mahomes, but he sucks.
Josh
He
Allen's
breaks after a
proving
day.
right now that if he don't have a stacked offensive weapons, he can't do anything. He's losing
Dude,
games week in and week out because he
He's
doesn't
almost
have anybody
embarrassing to
throw
watch sometimes. He's out there running around trying to be Mahomes, trying to throw underhanded passes and stuff, and he looks terrible. He never connects on them.
Right.
He looks like an idiot, and then he goes and cries on the sidelines.
What
Dude,
happened to
I'm
Jordan Love? I thought he was better.
Good
You know,
grief, dude.
it's just everybody. You look right now, the hot name's
Sam
Baker
Darnold.
Mayfield.
Someone
Yeah.
actually said Sam Darnold.
Right. Right now, the hot name's Baker Mayfield. If you think Baker Mayfield's in the same league or planet that Patrick Mahomes is at the QB position, you need to seriously consider watching a new sport.
I'm gonna do you one better, and just because I actually like Baker Mayfield. I think he's funny. I think he's the way
I
he
have
plays
nothing
football is
against
fun to
Baker
watch.
Mayfield.
But I'll do you one better. If you think any quarterback in the National Football League right now is in the same stratosphere as Patrick Mahomes, you're dumb.
Right. Absolutely. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, there's not.
You're
You're just
just dumb.
flat out wrong.
So
You're
look,
flat out wrong.
we put a bow on the game. Look, the offense was the best offense we've seen in years. Xavier
yeah,
Worthy
baby.
coming back, cranked the offense up a notch, but putting Rasheed Rice back in there just
Crank
put it
that
up
hog a
another.
little bit because you're so horned
Oh,
up about
crank
the offense.
the
baby.
hog with Rasheed Rice. That's what's up. Okay, so they looked good. The defense, week in and week out, Spags is putting together these masterful game plans, and they may not be the most lights out defense you've ever seen, but they're stepping up when they need to. They're shutting
Getting the
teams
job done.
out. They're doing
Yep.
things they need to do, and they're only going to get better as the season goes. And props to Spags for starting to move players around and see things. Like, look, Jamari Connor wasn't the best in the slot. Now he put Christian Roland Wallace in a little bit.
God, baby, we've been asking for it.
And it's one of those things where it's like, at least they're trying. They're doing something. I still think Brett Veach goes and makes a move, maybe two moves before the trade deadline.
Oh yeah.
And then that's just what we got. Like what we seen, we got to kick our feet up on the couch and enjoy a nice whooping over the Raiders, who, by the way, we just kick the shit out of the Raiders all the time. And it's fun. It's been the
so
best
much
pastime ever. But Steve, let's look just for 1 second, just a little bit of news on the game coming up versus the Commanders. Adam Schefter was on Pat McAfee today, and he said this. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. He had to have an MRI today. It would be a surprise if Jaden Daniels suits up and plays on Monday Night Football versus the Chiefs. What do you think about that? Because we know how players always have a miraculous healing when they go to play the Chiefs, right?
Brother, I think they were getting ready to get blown out with Jaden Daniels.
Absolutely.
So without him, good freaking
Marcus
luck.
Mariota.
Good freaking luck. Now he does tend to, throw touchdown passes to himself against the Chiefs, do all kinds of weird stuff. But maybe that was Mariota, 15 years ago. Mariota now probably even shouldn't be in the NFL no more. Maybe should.
Mariota drives a Toyota.
I feel like he should be selling Toyotas, like a car salesman or
For
something.
sure. If you sell Toyotas, that's an honorable job. We're not making fun of you.
Obviously, you can't go out. You can't overlook any team, any given Sunday. This NFL season has shown that the parity in the league is exponential, a lot more than it's been in years. So you can't overlook them. But at the same time, this is one of those games where go out there, execute, take care of business, move on. Like, don't overlook it because this is a gimme. This is a win for you. You need that. You're getting ready to go play Buffalo in Orchard Park. So I think that you have to make sure you take care of business. And that's what Patrick Mahomes is going to do, baby.
Absolutely. I think Monday Night Football versus maybe Mariota and the Commanders, I think it's going to be a big win. I think we keep rolling. But we'll dive into that game more and more as we get going. We'll talk injuries. We'll talk, all kinds of stuff throughout the week. But we appreciate you guys being here. Again, if you're on Apple, if you're on Spotify, 5-star review. And come over and find us on YouTube. We just crossed 50,000, and we've got 75K in our sites, I believe.
So you want to
Steve.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Get over here and subscribe. Add to that number, baby. Also, you can buy our merchandise at merch.allchiefedup.com. We have some beautiful t-shirts over there. We even have some festive stuff up already, so you can be ready when it comes around for Christmas time. You're going to have the coolest freaking Christmas shirt at the party, at the family dinner table, you name it. Go get the merchandise. Go check it out. Merch.allchiefedup.com. You can use the code HORNTSEASON. That's HORNTSZN, all capitals. And that'll get you 15% off of any order at the store. Mike, it's been a good one, baby. I think it's a good week to be a Chiefs fan.
It has. It's been awesome. Yeah, I don't know. There's really nothing else to say. Like we've talked this Raiders game into the ground, but look, it's fun. Victory Monday was amazing.
Yes.
It's always good. But shout out Mando for sponsoring this episode. We appreciate you guys. And it's going to wrap it up for today. So thanks for liking. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this with a friend that loves the Chiefs. And we'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.